Market mapping involves making a map of the market using key features that will identify different products or firms. So on our market map here, we have quality and price on the two axes. But actually you could have anything on there. So you might have level of necessity on one of the axes with necessary goods going across to more luxurious goods. Maybe if you're making a market map of clothing brands, it might be useful to look at fashion against function on one of the axes. But once you've done this, you can start to plot where current businesses sit on those axes. So if we were doing this for supermarkets, you might have your Waitroses and your M&S's in this section of the market map. Maybe Aldi's and Lidl's would sit kind of further down towards this quadrant. And for businesses that are already competing in the market, that can help them to identify close rivals, and so then to decide on what strategy they're going to use to respond to anything that they do. Because if you're a high quality firm and you're up here in the market map, then you're going to be more interested in what other rivals in a similar position to you are doing. Because businesses that are down here in a different section of the map will have very different target customer groups to you. Also, for businesses that are starting up, it can help them to identify any possible gaps in the market where they could try and satisfy a demand that's not currently being catered for. Now, the other side to that is that most gaps in a market will probably exist for a reason, and it might not be too advisable to target. So this high price and low quality section, not many customers are going to be that interested in buying products in that section of the map, so there might not be too many businesses at the moment selling there for a good reason. Equally, the low price and high quality section, well, that's going to be quite a tough one to pull off whilst maintaining any sort of profit margin. When a business is positioning themselves in a market, deciding on the source of the competitive advantage is going to be key. And when we talk about competitive advantage, we mean anything which is allowing that business to stand out from its rivals. Things which competitors might find it really quite difficult to replicate. And generally there are two main options to try and achieve this. They could go for a low cost strategy, try and stand out by offering really good value for money to customers. Maybe they could look to keep costs down through utilising economies of scale or really high capacity utilisation, which will allow for low prices for customers while still protecting those profit margins. The alternative to that is to stand out with a product differentiation approach. Maybe high quality or good customer service or just really strong branding could become a unique selling point, and a competitive advantage could be gained through these things. So businesses will need to think really carefully about how they are adding value. And what we mean by that is how they are increasing the worth of the resources they're using by modifying them. And the value added on each unit sold can be calculated by the sales revenue earned from selling that unit minus the cost of any bought in materials or components and services that are used in the production of those units. And so the aim of any business is going to be to try and stretch this difference as far as possible. And to do that, they'll generally use one of the two strategies for gaining a competitive advantage. They'll go low cost to try and squeeze the cost of those raw materials, or they'll look at some of those differentiation strategies, creating a unique selling point, using strong branding, or even celebrity product endorsements can help to increase selling prices as well, which would mean more revenue from each sale and an increase in value added.